Check out this replay of a Twisted Fate player who sees the enemy Jax pushed up in a side lane and suspects he may be on his own, so he pops his ult to check. Now using ult like this gives him perfect information on where the entire enemy team is, so with the now confirmed that Jax is undefended, he instantly teleports to Jax in the perfect position to capitalize and kills him with his team. Now look at this second replay of a Jarvan player. He's already waiting in the jungle between two lanes in the perfect position to capitalize. Moments later, waves crash into the enemy's tower in both bot and mid, giving him perfect information of where the enemy team is, just like the TF ult. Now Jarvan can instantly see that mid lane is where he has a confirmed numbers advantage, and with him already in the perfect positioning, he instantly capitalizes and tower dives, wiping out the enemy team and breaking open their base. This situation was made possible because Jarvan is playing using a technique I've named the TF ult method, because of its similarities to how the TF ultimate functions. But with the TF ult method, it's all about the setup. Jarvan has to first facilitate the pushing in a lane, transfer that push into an adjacent lane, find the correct positioning to capitalize on the expected vision from the wave crash in those two lanes, before finally executing on this newfound information. The TF ult method is the most powerful way to gain a god mode level vision and always have a numbers advantage, allowing you to completely 1v9 in a solo queue environment. So sit back and relax while I teach you everything you need to know on how to implement this method into your playstyle. My name's Rogue and I played League of Legends professionally for 7 years. Now I'm a full-time content creator and coach for all ranks Iron through to Challenger. So if you want more information of what a coaching session with me will look like, you can find more information by following the link in the video description below. While you're in the description, you'll also find the link to my Patreon, where I post all of the recordings of my best coaching sessions in full. With collections sorted by role and rank, including sessions where I've coached for professional level teams, you can get a glimpse into what pro level League of Legends look like from the inside. No matter what you're looking for, you'll easily be able to find something that's going to help you improve, no matter your rank. In League of Legends, when you push a minion wave into a tower, you are essentially guaranteed to gain new information of where at least one enemy is, as they have to come and defend that tower. By not catching this wave, your opponent would also be instantly losing out on the XP and a couple hundred gold from that lost minion wave. Also important to note is that generally after a wave crashes into a tower, it will begin a bounce into a slow push that will come back to you, depriving your opponent of even more farm as that wave stacks up for you to later catch on your side of the map. So for this reason, you can somewhat confidently predict to gain vision of at least one enemy per wave that you have crashing into an enemy tower at any time. Think of this as part 1 of TF's ultimate, where you gain the vision of the enemy. Now after you've pushed a wave and it starts to advance towards the enemy's tower, you should start quickly running to the space between lanes, either the jungle or the river, where you can more quickly capitalize on the new information you expect to receive. Think of this as part 2 of TF's ult, the teleport. Now the moment that wave crashes into the tower, and you gain vision of that enemy who you were expecting to see, you are already standing in a position where you can quickly capitalize on the new information. Here, for example, it now becomes obvious that top lane is under-defended and Rumble could commit for the tower there, although this concept is obviously not something his Bard or Seraphine understand. Now taking us back to this Jarvan replay from the video intro, you'll see that everything I do in this sequence is contributing and planned around creating that eventual TF ult that ends up giving us that mid-tower dive that breaks open the game, all the way down to how I path. Now I'm taking my red buff here because I have time to do it before this mid wave arrives. My clearing is specifically timed around when waves arrive. Now I don't have time for Krogs, otherwise this wave will die, so I'm going to start running there now, and when I see my wave out recall, I'm instead going to spam ping to encourage him to stay, because we don't want to waste any time with this. We want to create that advantage. I even help him push this wave and leave early and start running into that bot jungle between two waves that we talked about. Now, at the moment that an enemy does show on that advancing wave, I'm already halfway to bot lane. If an enemy shows on bot lane right now, I have complete confidence that the fight is 4v5 and I have a numbers advantage, and that will actually facilitate my Zed to push up his wave now that we know we have a numbers advantage from the mid wave. But this is where things get interesting. There's a bit of random fighting, but the end result of all of this is that now that I've enabled push in both of these lanes, my TF ult has just grown in value. The first one was just a one wave crash, making it a mini TF ult. But now that I have it in bot and mid, I'm going to get info in more lanes of more people, making my TF ult even stronger. And at the moment I get it, the play becomes very obvious on what I should do. For roles like jungle and support, your job is to facilitate your teammates' push in lanes to enable their wave crash. But if you're playing a carry role, you should be pushing these waves yourself and making it your #1 priority. Something that I like to echo in the mid game is that your #1 priority should be wave before everything. In any situation where you have a spare couple of seconds, find the nearest minion wave that isn't being pushed and push it. If all waves are already being pushed, then facilitate it like in my Jarvan replay. But realistically in low elo, wave before everything is something that all roles will need to do, since often players will walk off randomly into the jungle as the wave arrives to lane. For junglers specifically, the farm in lane is the same as the farm in jungle once you've upgraded your smite fully, since you are no longer penalized for taking lane farm. Like in this replay, where after a one team fight, I immediately find the closest unpushed minion wave before everything. Now, despite being the jungler and already hitting my Krugs with my EQ, I completely ignore them and instead push 2 waves top before recalling. Taking Krugs contributes no advantage to the state of the map, but taking the wave does. This wave is now slow pushing, and just a minute later, the enemy ADC shows top lane in order to catch it, giving my team the immediate opportunity to engage a fight 4v5 in the enemy bot jungle, which ends up securing us a Dragon Soul and the win. Now, to put together everything we've learned in this video into a replay that lets it all make sense at a lower rank, I have a replay from the coaching session I did just a few days ago. Now, this is a live coaching game where my student is playing, who's about bronze or silver elo, but I'm telling them where to go and what to do. And you'll see the situation I can create on the map is so favorable to him and his team that it's just easy to carry in this rank with this macro. So starting off with the winning team fight, the student does this typical bronze or silver thing and runs straight mid. But I tell them, wave before everything, we want to fill the gap. Yone is taking mid wave, so we're instead going to go bot lane and take bot wave. It's going to give us more farm, and it's going to deny the enemy some waves, and it's going to have more waves and more lanes crashing into tower to contribute to that TF ult. Now our player gets to push in a second wave, get some more farm, get a little bit of tower damage before resetting. Now taking those 2 waves bot lane is going to help us on next sequence, because now coming out of base, we have some free time, wave before everything. We don't need to go bot lane. It's already pushed out, which means that we can cover this mid wave. So my Rumble player goes mid, wave before everything, and takes this wave. And now begins the beginning of this TF ult macro. We have mid wave advancing, so we start running in between 2 lanes. We see 3 enemies, so we know we have a numbers advantage heading to bot. So we go catch bot wave before everything yet again. We pick up 2 extra waves, increasing our farm by double. Now after pushing this bot wave, we're going to continue. Is there anything we can do? Nope, wave before everything. We have that advancing wave, we go between the 2 lanes, and at the moment we get vision of an opponent, we're already halfway up mid. Now I start instructing the student to spam ping mid with a bunch of flags and a bunch of on my way pings, which encourages Bard to turn around and come. And now we have 4 people mid on this mid wave as it arrives, and we already know the enemy has people who just showed on that bot wave with the mini TF ult. Now with that numbers advantage we have and that hover towards mid, we now have 2 waves advancing. We had the wave bot that just went in. That gives us vision of Mordekaiser and Leona, so we can start ticking them off our list of people where we know where they are. And now we have a second wave advancing, so we start running to that space between 2 lanes. So when we gave vision in this lane, which will happen in a moment, there we go, we can tick off some even more people. Now we know where Yasuo is, and we know where Maokai is. Now look at what we've done. We've pushed bot wave ourselves, which has shown us where 2 people are. Then we've pushed mid wave, which has shown us where 2 people are. Now we're hovering top to let our Yone push top wave, which is going to reveal even more. Single-handedly, we have facilitated or done ourselves push in all 3 lanes. Each wave has given us more vision, ticking off where more enemies are on the map, and now finally, when we have the perfect TF ult revealing 4 to 5 members of the enemy team, we're in a position to capitalize where we can get top tower, but what actually happens is the enemy Yasuo face checks when we have vision of the rest of his team. Now I instruct the student to quickly engage and end this fight before the Maokai and his teammates get here, and he hesitates a bit, but still, Yasuo dies before anyone else on his team can even contribute to the fight. The micro isn't perfect in this fight by any means, but red team does pull out the win because the enemy was so busy answering these other waves, they had a numbers advantage for just a brief few seconds at the start of that fight. But now look at the situation. Despite losing most of our carries and all of our pushing power with only Seraphine and Briar alive, the waves that we have prepared are so close to enemy towers that we instantly get 2 towers from this sequence without even having pushing power. We've made more farm in lanes, we've created numbers advantage for fights, we've given ourselves perfect vision with a 3-lane crash and a giant TF ultimate, and then at the end of it, we have a massive payoff for winning fights because our waves are prepped, but in a situation where we lose a fight, the enemy simply has no minions, and there is no negative consequence to losing the fight because they can't take any towers. I encourage you to go out and try everything you learned in today's video. So don't waste your time. Prioritize pushing lanes with a wave before everything mentality, even as jungle and support if you have to. After pushing a wave and you have it moving forward, move towards the adjacent lane so you're in a position to capitalize off the vision you're going to get off of that advancing wave you just pushed. Whenever you have multiple waves crashing in 2 or 3 lanes, get ready. The TF ult is coming. Now all you have to do is find the play and execute. My name's Rogue. If you enjoyed watching this video and you want to help me out, leave a like, subscribe, and if you really want to help with the algorithm, leave a comment on the video. It'll help push it out to more people. Thank you.